In a world where everyone is connected, why do we feel more alone than ever? You scroll through endless feeds, double-tapping faces you'll never meet, liking lives that aren't yours, and performing your own identity for an invisible audience that may or may not care. It feels like you're in control, but what if you aren't? What if the very thing you think you're using is actually using you? Long before Instagram filters and viral trends, before the internet even existed, a man named McLuhan looked into the future and saw what was coming. He warned that one day, humanity would be surrounded by technology that doesn't just deliver messages, but becomes the message itself. That was his haunting insight: the medium is the message. It means that the form through which we communicate changes us more deeply than the content we consume. It's not what you're watching, it's the screen you're watching it on that shapes your mind. McLuhan wasn't a prophet in a robe. He was a media theorist in the 1960s, studying how newspapers, television, and radio were altering human consciousness. Yet his words echo perfectly in the age of smartphones and social media. When he said, "The medium is the message," he meant that every new technology silently rearranges our reality. It rewires our senses, our habits, and even our identity without asking for permission. Think about it. The printing press didn't just print books, it created an era of individual thinkers. Radio didn't just broadcast sound, it built nations through shared voices. Television didn't just show images, it transformed families into passive spectators. And now, the internet didn't just connect people, it dissolved the boundaries of time, distance, and privacy. Each medium carries not just information but transformation. McLuhan believed that every technology acts like an extension of ourselves. The wheel is an extension of the foot. The phone is an extension of the voice. The computer is an extension of the mind. But he warned that every extension also brings an amputation. When you extend one sense or ability through technology, you lose touch with another. We gained speed but lost patience. We gained access but lost attention. We gained visibility but lost authenticity. Now, enter the world of social media, a place where McLuhan's theory isn't just visible, it's alive and breathing. The platforms we use aren't neutral tools, they are environments that shape how we see, feel, and behave. Social media doesn't just tell you what to think, it trains you how to think. The endless scroll, the like button, the stories that disappear in 24 hours, these aren't random features, they are psychological architectures designed to mold you. McLuhan might say today that social media has become the new environment of human existence, a global village he once predicted. In this village, everyone can speak, but few truly listen. Everyone is connected, yet no one feels understood. Information moves faster than meaning, and in the noise, truth becomes irrelevant. The medium, the platform, dictates the rhythm of your thoughts, the pace of your day, the shape of your emotions. When you post a picture, you think you're expressing yourself. But the medium forces you to compress your personality into a square frame, to translate your experience into a caption, to seek validation through hearts and comments. You start to measure your worth by numbers on a screen. The platform doesn't just host your content, it rewires your desires. McLuhan would say, you think you're using Instagram, but Instagram is using you. Every medium, he said, works us over completely. It changes the scale, the pace, and the pattern of human affairs. And social media has done exactly that. It accelerated time, everything must be instant. It altered space, everyone is reachable, everywhere. And it redefined relationships, connection without commitment, expression without depth. It's not that people are shallow, it's that the medium rewards shallowness. The system amplifies what keeps you scrolling: anger, envy, controversy, and spectacle. McLuhan's brilliance was in seeing that media doesn't just convey reality, it creates it. He said that once you're inside a new medium, you can no longer see its effect because it becomes the air you breathe. We don't notice how the phone shapes our posture, how notifications dictate our mood, or how algorithms curate our worldview. We live in a digital aquarium, mistaking the water for the world. He once described new technology as invisible environments. You don't see them working, but they quietly reprogram the culture. Think of TikTok. It doesn't simply entertain, it reshapes attention spans. Think of Twitter, or now X. It doesn't just inform, it rewards outrage and brevity. Think of YouTube. It doesn't just teach, it determines what you believe is worth watching. In every case, the medium shapes the message. McLuhan would probably laugh at how his global village has evolved. He imagined a connected world, but he couldn't have foreseen how connectivity would turn into constant surveillance. He would remind us that every technology comes with a hidden cost. When you hold your phone, the phone also holds you. When you share your life becomes data. The tools of communication have become tools of control. The medium is the message also means that the content is secondary, the structure matters more. You can post inspiring quotes, but the platform turns them into bites of dopamine. You can watch educational videos, but the recommendation algorithm will still nudge you toward distraction. The architecture of the medium decides the outcome, no matter what message you put in it. McLuhan saw this coming in television. He noticed that TV didn't just transmit stories, it changed the way people processed information. The flickering images made the brain passive, conditioned to constant stimulation. Now, social media has taken that to a terrifying extreme. The human brain, once capable of deep thought and reflection, is now fragmented into micro-attention units. You can't think deeply if your mind refreshes every 10 seconds. He once said, "The new electronic interdependence recreates the world in the image of a global village." That sounds beautiful, but look closer. Villages can be close-knit, but they can also be suffocating. In a village, everyone watches everyone else. Privacy disappears, gossip rules, and conformity replaces individuality. Social media has turned the planet into exactly that, an electronic village where constant exposure masquerades as connection. And in this global village, silence is dangerous. You must constantly update, post, react, respond, because if you don't, you disappear. McLuhan would call that a symptom of the medium. When identity is tied to visibility, being unseen feels like death. That's why people fear missing out. That's why we can't disconnect. The medium conditions us to equate being online with being alive. McLuhan's ideas also expose the myth of neutrality. Many people think technology is just a tool, good or bad depending on how you use it. But McLuhan disagreed. The medium has its own logic, independent of your intentions. It shapes you whether you like it or not. It's not about what you post, but what posting does to you. It's not about how much time you spend online, but how being online redefines time itself. He'd probably say that social media is an environment of perpetual now, where memory fades, context collapses, and only the immediate moment matters. That's why outrage trends faster than reflection. That's why viral content dominates thoughtful ideas. The medium demands speed, not wisdom. But McLuhan wasn't simply pessimistic. He believed that understanding media gives us power. Control over change, he said, would require awareness of the change. If we can see how the medium shapes us, we can resist it. The first step to freedom is to notice the pattern. The moment you realize that the app you're scrolling isn't neutral, you begin to take back control. Awareness is the new rebellion. He might urge us to step outside the medium. That doesn't mean deleting everything, but learning to observe. Ask yourself, what is this platform turning me into? Am I shaping my thoughts, or is the platform shaping them for me? When you understand the invisible grammar of the medium, you stop being its victim. McLuhan's message has never been more urgent. We are surrounded by devices that extend our power but shrink our humanity. The smartphone extends your reach but limits your reflection. Social media extends your voice but weakens your authenticity. Algorithms extend your choices but narrow your awareness. Every new extension comes with a price. He would say that the danger of our time isn't that we are controlled by governments, but by environments we no longer notice. The new tyranny is not censorship, it's distraction. We aren't silenced, we're drowned in noise. We aren't oppressed, we're entertained into submission. The chains of the 21st century are invisible, glowing softly in your hand. And yet, McLuhan would not tell you to despair. He believed that once you see the medium, you can play with it instead of being played by it. You can use social media consciously, to create, to express, to share meaningfully, without letting it consume your soul. The key is awareness. When you see the water, you stop drowning in it. Imagine if people treated their attention like currency, spending it with care, investing it wisely, refusing to waste it on noise. The world would change. The medium would still exist, but the message would shift from manipulation to mindfulness. That's the power McLuhan hoped humanity would one day discover. He once wrote that we shape our tools, and thereafter our tools shape us. This is the eternal cycle of civilization. Every technology begins as liberation and ends as domination until we awaken. The printing press liberated thought, then centralized knowledge. The television connected homes, then numbed minds. The internet opened communication, then trapped us in filters and feeds. The pattern repeats because we forget to look at the medium. McLuhan's insight is a mirror. It shows us that the true message of every medium is the change it makes in us. The Internet's message is not information, it's immediacy. Social media's message is not connection, it's performance. The smartphone's message is not convenience, it's dependence. Each invention reveals a part of ourselves, amplified and distorted. He once described the world as a giant nervous system, each medium acting like an extension of human senses. Today, that nervous system is overstimulated. Notifications are the new neurons firing non-stop, and your mind is caught in their rhythm. The question is, who's in control, the brain or the network? McLuhan foresaw that the future would not be defined by information overload but by pattern recognition. Those who could see the structure behind the noise would be the new sages. That's what philosophy means today, not memorizing ideas, but recognizing patterns that control us. So, what does it mean that the medium is the message? It means that every time you look at your phone, you are not just seeing content, you are inside a system designed to make you react. Every like, every swipe, every story is a feedback loop, shaping who you are. You are both the user and the product. But awareness changes everything. The moment you pause before posting, the moment you question why you're scrolling, the moment you notice the design instead of the distraction, you begin to transcend the medium. You begin to use it consciously. That's McLuhan's hidden wisdom. You can't escape the medium, but you can learn to see it. He would challenge you to live deliberately in a world of automation. To think slowly in a culture that worships speed. To connect deeply in a web that rewards shallowness. To use media as a tool for reflection, not addiction. To remember that your mind is not a platform, it's sacred ground. In the end, McLuhan's warning is not just about technology, it's about being human in the age of machines. The medium is the message, yes, but you are still the author. You can decide what meaning you make, what attention you give, what presence you reclaim. You can let the screen define you, or you can use it as a mirror to see yourself more clearly. Freedom in the digital age doesn't mean disconnecting. It means awakening. It means remembering that chaos isn't control's enemy, it's creation's birthplace. It means using the tools without becoming one. Because as McLuhan would remind us, the real revolution begins not when technology changes, but when consciousness does.